From the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the News 8 Daily 8.
Now, the latest news.
Kylie Conway has the latest news. The top headlines. News you can use.
Please stand by.
Sponsored by LCS Heating and Cooling. Now, here's Wish TV's Kylie Conway.
Hi, this is Kylie Conway, and this is the News 8 Daily 8 for Friday, July 2nd. Easily today is the best weather day of the week. It is gorgeous outside, mostly sunny, mild, refreshing all day long. Got some light winds out of the north. The highs will get into the mid to upper 70s. As far as the rest of the 4th of July weekend, we're going to have fantastic weather. Dry on Saturday, mostly sunny skies. Highs will stay slightly below average, topping out in the low 80s. Then on Independence Day, we're going to get a little bit warmer. The humidity creeps back in, highs into the mid-80s. Lots of sunshine, though. It should be a spectacular evening for the fireworks. And a sign that America's longest war is coming to an end. U.S. officials say some of the final remaining U.S. troops left Bagram Airfield in Afghanistan today after nearly 20 years. Officials say the airfield was handed over to the Afghan National Security and Defense Force in its entirety. The departure marks the end of American presence in the area. The full withdrawal of U.S. troops from Afghanistan is not complete, but expected soon. The Boy Scouts of America is agreeing to pay an $850 million settlement to sexual abuse victims. The money is part of an agreement between the organization and the attorneys representing some 60,000 people. If paid, the settlement would be one of the largest involving sexual abuse cases ever paid in U.S. history. You may remember by our reporting that Boy Scouts of America filed for bankruptcy in February of 2020. That paused lawsuits against the organization and allowed it to organize a fund to compensate victims. According to court records, an earlier agreement offered around $300 million to the alleged victims. No more executions at the federal prison in Indiana for the foreseeable future. The Justice Department is halting the program, a complete reversal from the Trump administration policy that prompted 13 executions in 7 months, all in Terre Haute. This morning, there's a sense of freedom to celebrate freedom. Attorney General Merrick Garland says the moratorium will allow for a review of the policies and procedures of the death penalty, including the drugs used during lethal injections. There have been several long timeouts in the federal capital punishment program. The most recent period of 17 years without an execution ended last year, and Terre Haute averaged 2 executions a month through January. 46 people are currently on federal death row. American traditions, many that were on hold last year because of the pandemic, are back on for the 4th of July this year. With restrictions relaxing, families are hitting the roads, firing up the grill and ready to gaze up at some fireworks. They say it's okay to celebrate the 4th, the doctors do, but don't let all of your guard down this holiday weekend. We do know travel experts say 35% more people are hitting the roads, and camping is up 70% over last year. So people are ready to celebrate, even if it looks a bit different. The Delta variant is on the rise, and that is a serious threat, especially for anyone who is unvaccinated. Still, the CDC says the 7-day average has decreased 95% since January 10th. Recommendations still say anyone who is vaccinated can drop the mask for both indoor and outdoor celebrations. Those unvaccinated, including children under 12, should avoid large gatherings and mask up.
You're dealing with a very important national holiday. The country as a whole, as I've mentioned and we have mentioned several times, has done very well. You can still celebrate at the same time as you get your message very, very clear. If you are vaccinated, you have a high degree of protection. If you are not, you should wear a mask and you should think very seriously about getting vaccinated.
That was Dr. Anthony Fauci. Now, the CDC's director says about 1,000 counties in the U.S. have a vaccination rate under 30%. Most of those are in the South and Midwest. Doctors say nearly all of the COVID-19 cases leading to hospitalizations right now are people who are unvaccinated. And President Biden wants 70% of adults with at least one COVID-19 shot and 160 million people fully vaccinated by this weekend. So as far as where we stand on the CDC's vaccine tracker this morning, 66.7% of the grown population has received at least one shot. 149 million people are fully vaccinated. And the Biden administration is sending response teams across the U.S. to help fight the Delta variant. The White House COVID-19 response coordinator says the teams will go to places of high risk or already experiencing outbreaks from the variant. The team will help with testing and contact tracing and provide therapeutics to treat the virus. Teams will also help give more COVID-19 vaccines. Health officials say getting shots into arms is the key to preventing more outbreaks. And Wish TV's new medical expert urges Congress to keep vaccines and politics separate. Former Surgeon General Dr. Jerome Adams testified in front of lawmakers yesterday about vaccine hesitancy. He describes the problem as a mix of misinformation, mistrust, and misperception. He called on Congress to help.
I've never heard a single person say I'm not getting vaccinated because I'm a Republican. I've heard plenty of people say I won't get vaccinated because I don't trust the government. I don't trust the healthcare system. And when we focus on this mistrust versus focusing on political ideology, we win people over.
Adams also offered advice for holiday travel. He says if you're vaccinated, you should be okay. And if not, consider wearing a mask and staying socially distant. 4th of July preparations are now underway in Indianapolis. This year, there's a new launch pad, the top of a building at 500 North Meridian. After 50 years of shooting off fireworks from the Regents Tower, they couldn't use the space because of residential development around there. It wasn't safe. So then no celebrations last year because of the pandemic. And the city is now celebrating being able to shoot off the fireworks on the building at the corner of Meridian and Michigan. The new location also allows for a bigger fireworks display. Officials expect about 50,000 to 100,000 people downtown watching the 21-minute show.
We're looking at a 20-minute show, 21-minute. It'll be synchronized to music with our EMIS partners, and we look forward to that. Obviously, you don't want to be right under this building. Of course, it's a safety perimeter. So really, 3 to 10 blocks away, you're going to have a great show. But of course, as people come down safely, we want them to remember there's construction, plan ahead, look for your best route, free parking downtown on 4th of July at all the meters. So we look forward to that.
Some things of note, there will not be a large Freedom Fest this year to accompany the display. Melrose Pyrotechnics will put on the 21-minute show. Some possible location to watch are near the 500 North Meridian Street building, the American Legion Mall, University Park, along the north stretch of the Indianapolis Cultural Trail. And keep in mind, parking is free on Sunday, and the show's set to start at 10 o'clock. And today, 500 American flags fly in Lawrence. The Field of Honor Memorial is outside the American Legion offices on Herbert Lord Road, just south of Fort Harrison State Park. The city says this year's display honors military members, essential workers, and first responders. The official unveiling is today at noon. And you can get a safe lift home for little or no charge over the holiday weekend. The group Sober Ride Indiana is offering $15 credits in Indianapolis and Fort Wayne. It did the same thing in March for St. Patrick's Day and the NCAA tournament. There are 1,000 credits per city. You can redeem one starting at 5 o'clock tonight until 3 in the morning Monday. To find the links to all of this and the information, go to wishtv.com, and you'll see this story at the very top of the page next to As Seen on Wish TV. Independence Day is proving to be a pivot point for America's travel plans. It's poised to be the busiest weekend during the pandemic. Last 4th of July only saw fewer than 800,000 people go through the TSA. Just over 2 million people are expected to fly, putting it almost on par with pre-pandemic levels. Now, travel site Hopper says searches for July 4th are 47% higher than other summer weekends. Hopper links the jump to President Biden's comment in March that the holiday could mark America's independence from the virus. The top 3 booked destinations include Las Vegas, Miami, and Orlando. And some 4th of July travelers may find empty gas stations. Stations all across the country are reporting running out of fuel, but not because of a gas shortage. The Indiana Food and Fuel Association says there just simply aren't enough drivers to get the fuel to the stations. The executive director of the association says drivers just need to be patient.
So the incentive is there, but you can't add hazmat certified tanker truck drivers to the roads overnight. It's going to take some time.
The head of petroleum analysis for Gas Buddy says it takes time to get drivers into the open positions. A commercial driver's license and a hazardous material endorsement are required for the job. The Hamilton County Sheriff's Office is asking for help solving 2 cases of arson. 2 mobile homes caught fire last week on East 221st Street in Noblesville. The first happened last Monday around 3:30 in the morning. The second was the next morning just before 9:30. The Hamilton County Sheriff's Office posted on Facebook that there is now a $5,000 reward for information that leads to an arrest. If you know something, call the fire marshal. I'll give you the number here. It is 1-800-382-4628. And the Office of Public Health and Safety is opening applications for the Community-Based Violence Prevention Grant Program in Indianapolis. According to the office, OPHS gives $300,000 a year to organizations that work to prevent violence. This year, an additional $140,000 from the American Rescue Plan will go to groups addressing mental health challenges brought on by the pandemic. The deadline for applications is July 31st. And a new program in Marion County aims to help children who made a low-level nonviolent criminal offense. Prosecutor Ryan Mears introduced the Juvenile Second Chance program at the Boys and Girls Club of Indianapolis. Instead of entering the criminal justice system, the prosecutor will pay for memberships to the club for 1 year. Mears says he wants to give young people a chance to make better choices.
I think it's important to note that as we deal with this issue of violent crime in our city, the one thing that we have learned and the one thing that we have found is that when you give young people an opportunity and hope, they do not commit crimes.
The program is accepting referrals now. Eligibility is on a case-by-case basis. Examples of low-level crimes include vandalism, possession of marijuana, and disorderly conduct. Mears says any case connected to a gun will not be considered. An especially trained group of first responders from Indiana is staged this morning to search the site of a condo collapse in Florida. Indiana Task Force 1 will join crews working to clear rubble in Surfside. At least 18 people are dead. 145 are missing. The work to find victims is back underway this morning after a 15-hour delay. Crews had to stop for safety when they found widening cracks and parts of the building shifting.
Given our ongoing safety concerns about the integrity of the building, we're continuing to restrict access to the collapse zone.
And this morning, officials are considering plans to demolish the rest of the building. A FEMA structure specialist says taking the rest of it down would increase safety and room for rescuers to work. And one of the tallest buildings in Miami is lighting up to honor the victims of the collapse. The World Center shows the message, "One World, One Prayer." Underneath that are the flags of the different home countries of those still missing. According to the Miami Herald, the building will stay lit until the rest of the missing people are found. President Joe Biden and First Lady Jill Biden visited the area yesterday. The president met privately with family members of the victims, then visited some of the crews working to clear the site. Biden spoke of grief and waiting.
It's bad enough to lose somebody, but the hard part, the really hard part, is to not know whether they're surviving or not. Just not have any idea.
President Biden announced his administration plans to cover the entire cost of search and rescue efforts for the first 30 days. And Governor Holcomb leaves for Qatar Monday. His office says Holcomb will meet with government officials and business leaders to promote Indiana as a place for innovation, investment, and jobs. He's scheduled to return to Indiana a week from today. And this morning, a defiant declaration from the Trump Organization on its charges and those against its CFO for a 15-year employee tax scheme. CFO Alan Weisselberg turned himself into the Manhattan District Attorney yesterday morning. He alone is accused of defrauding the federal government, state, and city out of more than $900,000 in unpaid taxes. In court, prosecutors described a 15-year tax scheme in charging Weisselberg, Trump Payroll Corporation, and the Trump Organization. Both Weisselberg and lawyers for the Trump Organization pleaded not guilty. The court ordered the CFO to surrender his passport, released him without bail. Lawyers for the Trump Organization spoke after court.
These charges are unprecedented. These cases are always resolved in the civil context. The IRS has never made a case like this. If the name of the company was something else, I don't think these charges would have been brought.
Former President Trump is not charged with any wrongdoing. This is the first criminal case to come out of New York authorities' 2-year investigation into Trump's business dealings. And work starts today for the new committee investigating the Capitol riot. Republican Liz Cheney joins 7 Democrats on the panel, which still needs 5 more members. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi announced her selections yesterday and is inviting Republican leaders to submit 5 names too, though it's not clear if they will participate at all. Our All Indiana Politics team talked with Indiana Democrat Andre Carson about the panel and the vote from most Republicans not to support it.
It's very disheartening and sad that many of them are afraid of getting answers about what happened that day. I suppose it's because, the more we learn about the events leading up to the insurrection, the harder it is to deny Donald Trump's role in inciting that mob. So I believe the only way we can move forward from this is to get answers and accountability.
We have much more with Carson on All Indiana Politics Sunday at 9:30 on Wish TV. In an IT-made investigation, no more fee does not mean free when it comes to getting a gun license. A new law that started this week eliminates all fees for 5-year and lifetime licenses, but you'll still have to pay something. The processing of licenses requires a background check and 2 sets of fingerprints, one for the state, the other for your local police department. Those will cost you. Identigo is one of the locations approved by state police for fingerprints. The company charges $12.50. Marion County applicants are required to get their second set of fingerprints at the city-county building. The city government charges $50 for a lifetime license application. Police say once it is issued, the state will not go back and do additional background checks. The modern space race is heating up. Richard Branson is set to beat fellow billionaire Jeff Bezos into space by just 9 days. Virgin Galactic says its founder will be among the 6 people on board its next test flight, scheduled for July 11th. Bezos will take off in his Blue Origin rocket on July 20th, the 52nd anniversary of the Apollo 11 moon landing. And the Indiana State Fair still needs to fill about 100 positions. Before it starts the fair at the end of the month, organizers are hosting a second job fair from 4 to 6 p.m. on Wednesday next week. The first job fair was in May. It's at the Event Center at the Pop Weaver Youth Pavilion at the fairgrounds. Organizers say there are parking, security, operations, tractor shuttles, and education positions available. To business headlines, a California law firm has more than 750 separate sexual assault cases involving Uber or Lyft. In terms of the type of sexual assault allegations, it ranges from inappropriate and sexual comments while passengers are locked inside the car to kidnapping and rape. This is according to Fox Business. Some changes the firm is pushing for include having a camera inside the car that is not controlled by the driver, as well as better screening and training of drivers. And restaurants are starting to hire robots instead of people who are demanding higher pay. Businesses are tired of waiting for workers and are increasingly turning to automation instead. The trend has swept through the restaurant industry as the labor shortage is hurting hiring. Economic data suggests that the shift to automation has been underway for months now. Twitter is exploring new ways for users to control who can see their tweets, including a way for people to limit their audience to trusted friends and see tweets from that group first. Twitter is asking for feedback on the changes. Toyota tops GM sales in the U.S., expected to be America's best-selling automaker. Toyota sold 688,813 vehicles during the second quarter, topping GM sales of 688,236 vehicles, only about 500 more. The last time GM wasn't the best-selling automaker for a quarter was when Ford outsold them in 1998, according to Edmunds. Propane prices are headed higher. Yes, this is a staple of backyard barbecues, of course. It's rarely this expensive during the summer and could mean prices will head higher into the winter when demand for propane is at its highest. And that's because millions of rural Americans rely on the fuel to heat their homes. And finally, to some sports headlines. One of IndyCar's youngest stars will be back behind the wheel after a bicycle accident that fractured his collarbone. Rinus VeeKay is heading to Mid-Ohio 2 weeks after surgery. News 8's Charlie Clifford explains how the 20-year-old is making such a quick recovery.
Rinus VeeKay wins the GMR Grand Prix in Indianapolis. Rinus VeeKay's quest to be IndyCar's youngest season champion right on track until a freak bicycle accident.
I was just cycling with my personal trainer around, and we were just taking it easy. A trail just like the Monon with no people. And I don't know what caused me to flip over the bike. I'm on the ground and I just feel around and I feel my bone. Yeah, that's broken. I was really counting down the second before going into surgery. That's how much pain I had.
A broken collarbone, and over the past 2 weeks, nonstop rehab, 3 hours a day inside a hyperbaric chamber previously made famous by LeBron James. Somehow, VeeKay back in the lineup Sunday at Mid-Ohio.
Like anything above my head is painful, but turning the steering wheel is in front of my head, so that's fine. I've just been in the car and Everything feels fine, no pain, and just like the old times.
You will not see Rinus VeeKay on the Monon Trail in or around Indianapolis for the remainder of the IndyCar season. The doctors have said stay off the bike, but get back in the championship chase. Rinus in 6th place with 7 races to go.
I just look at every race, try to win every race any way possible, or just do the best I can. I think that's going to be winning in Mid-Ohio. Team has a great car there.
In lightning quick fashion, Rinus returns. Charlie Clifford, Wish TV, wishtv.com, and follow us on Facebook.
Game 4 of the Indianapolis Indians series with the Iowa Cubs is tonight. The Indians won 7-6 in 12 innings last night. If you can't make it to Victory Field, we have you covered, though. You can watch every pitch starting at 7 o'clock tonight on MyIndy TV 23. This has been your News 8 Daily 8 for Wish TV. I'm Kylie Conway, online at wishtv.com, and follow us on Facebook when you search Wish TV. Happy Independence Day weekend, everybody. Have a safe one and have fun.
The News 8 Daily 8 is sponsored by LCS Heating and Cooling. Be sure to like and subscribe to this podcast on News 8 Daily 8 with Kylie Conway. And be sure to discover even more great podcasts now at allindianapodcastnetwork.com.